Good afternoon, children. Now, please, all of you, sit straight, keep your eyes closed, and your hands should be on your laps. And please relax in the posture. Your feet should be touching the ground. Don't lie down on the bed. Okay. So, now just to start, as we close our eyes, no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter how many thoughts are racing around your mind, no matter how the brain is buzzing, just take a moment to sit down and take a big deep breath, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. As you breathe in, you are taking in fresh air, and with this, your lungs expand. As you breathe out, you let go any stress in the body, in the mind, just feeling the muscles softens and relax. Breathe one more time deeply through your nose and out through the mouth. Take a moment to pause, allow thoughts to come and go, and just gently opening the eyes again. You are stress free, you feel relaxed, you feel calm. Okay, children. So, to begin the class, a very beautiful thought I have here, the quote here I have. It says that meditation is something that changes your destiny. If you go deep within and repose in the self, things start to change. This means that if you do meditation seriously, regularly, it will really change your life, right? If you do it seriously, you will introspect yourself, you will look inside you will be able to introspect yourself, and then accordingly, whatever weaknesses we have, we come to know about those weaknesses, and then we act accordingly. And by doing that, the things in our life will start to change. Life will really become beautiful, right? So, with this good thought, general instructions, as again and again we give you: turn off your audio and video. Most of you are adhering to this, but sometimes some of you just go against it. Please don't spoil the decorum and discipline of the class by turning on your videos. So, first, turn off your video and audio the moment you join the class. Secondly, you need to rename yourself, right, as soon as you join the session. When you are renaming yourself, your name, admission number, class, and section, that will be the order which will be followed. And if you have any query related to the class, please send it on my email ID that is being mentioned below, right? That is ashishavasan at lancesconvent.net. And last but not the least, maintain the decorum and discipline of the virtual class. We expect your cooperation and we hope that you will follow these instructions. Okay, children. So, in the last class, as I covered cause and effect relationship between human capital and economic growth, right? But I think it was not very clear to some of you, right? So, just I am about to take it further. I'm about to take it again Okay. Now, as go ahead, first of all, there exists, we all know that by now you might have learned that there exists some type of relationship between human capital and economic growth, right? But we as such are not able to prove what type of cause and effect relationship exists between the two. Means if one is changing out of the two, that is capital and economic growth, out of these two, if one is changing, how the change in this one variable will affect the other variable? Like for example, if I say human capital increases, if there is an increase in human capital, so how will the economic growth be affected, whether it is going to impact economic growth or not, first of all, and if yes, then how? So to establish this cause and effect relationship, right? So to establish this cause and effect relationship, this has become very difficult for economists to prove that whether that there is really some cause and effect relationship. Reason being because they face some measurement problems. Now, some measurement problem basically means that, as we know, that human capital is measured mainly through two components. Although we have a lot many sources of human capital, right? Like I have talked about education, health, migration, information, on the job training, right? But out of all these five, the two main important components are first education and second is health, right? But it is difficult to measure education and health, so because we cannot measure them easily or conveniently, right? We don't have any empirical evidence means these facts are not being supported with some data, right? So therefore, because of this data problem, we are not getting the accurate data regarding human capital and economic growth, so it becomes difficult for us to establish some relationship, right? Now we know that human capital is mainly measured through education and health, right? And then education, if we talk about, we have also studied that education can be measured through three components. First is the terms of years of schooling. For how many years you have attended the school. That is the terms of years of schooling. Second, we talk about is or we take into consideration is the teacher pupil ratio. That means what is the ratio between teacher and the pupil, right? If I say it is 1 is to 10, that means one teacher is allotted to 10 children. For 10 children, we have one teacher. So that is the teacher pupil ratio. And third, if we talk about is the enrollment rates. Enrollment rates basically means that how many children are enrolled in schools. That means those who have been registered with some institution, with some schools, right? Whose names are there in the school registers. So such that rate is called, or that magnitude is called as enrollment rates. So basically in our country, education is measured through these three components. But these three components may not reflect the quality of education, right? In the sense that if I say that the years of schooling is, let's say we have 15 years of schooling as the terms of years of schooling. And then we say that teacher pupil ratio, as I just now gave you the example, 1 is to 10. Let's take the same ratio. And enrollment ratio is very quite high. Quite high means in our country, most majority of 95% of the people are attending schools regularly. Let's say that. In spite of these three factors being very good, we cannot still say we cannot still talk about the quality of education. Means we still cannot say what quality of education has been given in the schools. It is quite possible that years of schooling is high, teacher people ratio is very good, enrollment rates are very high, but still the quality of education that is being given can be ordinary, right? So quality of education cannot be judged through these three factors. So that is again we say, so it becomes difficult to measure education, right? Education that is in terms of quality of education. Then next, after education, as I said that human capital is also determined, right? Human capital is also determined through health, right? Now, health we know is measured in terms of money, right? How much money we are spending on our health. Okay, so that is what we, if you are going to gym, right, you are going to some you are attending some gym or something like that, so how much money you are spending there, that is again we say you are spending money on your health. So in terms of money, when we talk about health in terms of money, that means how much money you are spending on maintaining your health or keeping yourself fit, or if you have some problems, so what amount of money you are spending on those to solve those problems, get rid of those illnesses. Okay, so that is one uh, aspect. Another is the life expectancy. Life expectancy we have studied that is the average year a person is expected to live, right? When a person, a child is born, so on an average how many years he is expected to live, that is called as life expectancy. Clear? The mortality rate, that is the death rate, if we say, right? So these three are taken into account when we measure health. So now, again, these two do not reflect the true health status of the people in a country, right? If life expectancy is high, it's good for the country, right? Then mortality rate is low. Again, we say very good for the country, right? Life expectancy is high. That means people are expected to live for longer years. That means our health sector is expanding. Okay. Then secondly, mortality rate is low. Again, very good. We have a lot many people who will not die because of certain diseases. Okay. So population will be pretty good in that economy. And if we are spending more on health also, but all these three together, if we look into the figures, the three aspects, still it becomes difficult to say how healthy will be the labor force. Just by considering these three factors, it becomes difficult to know how healthy will be the labor force. So again, we say that it is difficult to measure the health of a labor through these three components, right? So these are the basically the measurement problems which we come across when we measure education and health. Education and health together will give us human capital. Okay, so human capital is measured through education and health. Now, economists now say that there is convergence in the measures of human capital, but there is no sign of conversion in case of per capita real income, right? Means I'll be just talking about this particular point in the next slide, right? Just for the time being, just make yourself clear here that there is convergence. Convergence means that when two variables behave in the same direction, they move in the same direction, then we say that there is convergence, right? So if we talk about human capital, and for this, we measure human capital in developed countries as well as in developing countries. So when we look for this human capital in these two type of countries, we find that in both the countries, human capital is increasing, right? But when we talk about the per capita real income in these two countries, again, we find that they don't go in the same direction. Although if we say human capital is increasing, real capita per capita real income should also increase, which we per capita real income can also be here called as economic growth, right? So if human capital is increasing, economic growth should also increase. Why? Because human capital means people are more skilled, right? They are very healthy. That means their productivity will increase, right? So if productivity is increasing, output will increase. As a result, economic growth will take place. So in case of human capital, these two countries show similar result. But when we talk about per capita real income, when we have measured per capita real income of these two countries, we find that they are not moving in the same direction. So there is no sign of convergence of per capita real income. This is what actually this particular statement means, right? Although I'll still take this up in the next slide. So ultimately, what conclusion we can draw is that human capital and economic growth, right? Human capital and economic growth, both of them move in either direction. Either direction means basically that if in a country there are higher income, people are earning higher income. Higher income basically means shows the economic growth. Okay. So even in place of the word higher income, we can use the word economic growth, right? People will get higher income only when there is higher production in the economy, and when production increases, this means economic growth is there, right? So higher income, if we have higher income in the country, this will build high level of human capital. People are earning higher incomes, they'll be spending more on education, right? Then they will be spending more to acquire trainings, right? So that means there will be higher level of human capital. Or one way direction is that higher incomes will lead to high level of capital formation. We can interpret the same thing in another way, like if I say that higher level of human capital will cause growth of income. This is also true, right? If people are more educated, more healthy, more skilled, right? Then what will this reflect? That this will reflect that economy will grow, which is what we mean growth of income will take place, right? So this is a either way process. In any one of the ways we can interpret it. Okay. So now, as I was talking about the point of convergence, right? So here I have just taken the two countries. One is a developing country, another is the developed country, right? Now, if I measure human capital in developing country, we know that human capital can be measured through health and education. If you measure health and education in developing country, it will be known as, it will be considered as you have measured human capital. Okay. So if I measure human capital in developing country, I see that what, after analyzing the data, what we observe is that it is increasing. Okay. And similarly, if I measure human capital by using the same parameters, that is health and education, what we observe is that it is also increasing in case of developed countries. So that means human capital, in terms of human capital, both the countries are showing the same result, and therefore we say that there is convergence. Human capital in developing countries is increasing, human capital in developed countries is also increasing. So when these are showing the same result, it is called as there is convergence, right? So they are moving in the same direction. Now, if I talk about about the second aspect, right? That is real per capita income, which can also be termed as economic growth here. Okay. So now, if I talk about the economic growth, if I measure real per capita income in developing countries and I measure real per capita income or economic growth in developed country as well. So what result do we see? After measuring this, we see that in case of developing countries, real per capita income or economic growth is increasing at a slow rate. It increases with a slow rate. Okay. Whereas in developed countries, the real per capita income or economic growth is increasing at a rapid rate, fast rate. So now here, if we compare the real per capita income or economic growth of these two countries, we don't find the same result. Here, the rate of increase is very fast, and here, the rate of increase is very slow, in spite of increase in human capital in both the countries, right? So, this from this we conclude that there is no sign of convergence of per capita real income. Okay, so that was actually what the point was. Now children, I would just like to give you one question, right? This is table number 5.1 in your NCRT as well. Those who have the PDF of it, it is fine. Note down just the table number. Those who don't have the PDF, you can take the screenshot. That is why I have displayed this table here. Okay. Now I want you to read this table and give me the analysis. What observation do you derive? What do you conclude after reading this table? Right. So this table basically focuses on the indicators of development in education and health sector. They have given us the value of real per capita over the different years, then the crude death rate, right? Infant mortality rate, life expectancy of males, life expectancy of females, and the literacy rate, right? So they have given us all the figures in this table. I want you to go through this table and give me the conclusion. What results do you draw from this table? Right? Why I am giving this is because you in your exams, right, in your exams you can be given any table to that needs to be interpreted. So if you are given any table, it will be very easy, right? We cannot say only the tables from NCRT will be there. No, right? From any survey, economic survey, they can pick up any table, obviously related to your topics, right? And then you are required to interpret. So this is what I'm giving you as the homework, right? Please mail the conclusion of this table, the results you can, inferences you can draw from this table on my email ID. Yeah, I know by now you might have that is ashishavasan at lancesconvent.net. Okay, fine. So now, in the same context, some independent reports were given, right? First report was given by the Deutsche Bank, that is the German bank, right? And this was first July 2005, right? 1720 report was released by a German known as the is named as, right? The report we have is named as Global Growth Centers. That is the name of the report. Now, the report said that India will emerge as one among four major growth centers in the world by 2020. Right? See, this was in 2005, but now COVID 19 is there. I have a doubt. I put a question mark here, but still we need to know this report. Okay. So now this report says that India will emerge as one of the or emerge as one of the four major growth centers in the world by 2020. Means this has statement has been given on the data which supports that in if in any country growth needs to be attained, then for that country, it is important to lay stress on human capital formation. Okay, so that means if any country wants to achieve growth, it is important that that country should put more emphasis on its human capital formation. That is, more investments should be done on human beings in the form of education, in the form of health, then in the form of on the job training, migration, and information. Okay. Furthermore, they say that GDP of any country will increase when we have just studied that GDP will increase only when there is increase in human capital formation. Okay. So if human capital formation will increase, obviously GDP will increase. So in case of India, right, they have said that between the time period 2005 to 2020, the average increase in education will be by 40%. That is, between the time period 2005 and 2020, more number of more than let me see, they have projected that around 40% of the population will acquire average, they have given us the average value. 40% of the population will acquire education, additional education, right? So that means if so many people are taking education, human capital formation is taking place. And when human capital formation is taking place, obviously economic growth will also be there. Another report was given by World Bank. Okay. Now, World Bank, the report World Bank submitted is known by quite a big name. You need to learn the name as well, right? That is more important, right? Like the Deutsche Bank gave the report by the name of Global Growth Centers, right? And what was the main aim? This is what actually is the crux of the report. Okay. Then, if we talk about World Bank, the report was named, the report was named as India and the Knowledge Economy, Leveraging and Opportunities, states that, right? So that means the name of the report basically is India and the Knowledge Economy, Leveraging and Opportunities. Now, the report states that India should make a transition to the knowledge economy. Transition means make a change or to move towards the knowledge economy. This is what actually this means. Now, that means India will be moving more towards the service sector, because education comes under service sector or the tertiary sector, right? So most of India's national income will come from the service sector, that is the educated people. Okay. Now, they further say that if India uses its knowledge, right, the knowledge people have here in India, if we use this resource like Ireland, they have taken the example of Ireland. So, like Ireland is using its people's knowledge, education, and if India also uses the knowledge of its people in the same way, right? In that case, India's income will increase. If I'm saying India's income, that means I am also referring to the national income. Okay, national income of our country, right? So India's income, they say, will increase from $1,000 to $3,000 from the year 2002 2002 to the year 2020. Right, that means in 2002 when they measured the income, it was $1000 in India. And they say that if India uses the knowledge of its people like Ireland has done, so in that case, if we use our knowledge of our people in the same way, then in India, income will increase to $3000 by the year 2020. Right. So this was all the main points that were covered in this report. So because they said so, because India has all the ingredients which are required for an economy to develop. All the ingredients is why I'm saying ingredients means the skilled workforce. Yes, we have a lot of skilled workforce. That is why we experience brain drain. Right. I'll come to that aspect later. Right. Then second is that we are a democratic country, right? There is democracy that is being practiced, which is again important for a country to achieve higher growth rate. Science and technology, so many inventions, innovations, so many scientists from India are going to other countries and contributing there, working there. So that means we have all the ingredients present in India. Just the thing is, we have to use these ingredients in the right direction, right? So also they say that if we train our people, right, if we train our people in the right direction, these people will prove to be an asset for us. Okay, the human capital we have, it will be an asset for us, and if we use these assets properly, obviously the growth rate will shoot up. Okay, so these are the two independent reports which have been issued by the two different countries. Okay, now next we have the difference between the human capital and human development. Okay, so next we have the difference. So let's take that up. Now, human capital, basically, the first thing it says that human capital regards education and health as a means to increase productivity. Means human capital says that education and health is a mean. Mean means it's a way, right? Through which productivity can be increased. See, there is a difference between production and productivity, right? Production basically means the volume of total output, number of goods that have been produced, that is called as production. Now when I talk about productivity, productivity says that, or it is defined as the output produced by one person, one laborer, right? If total output is 100 units, it will be called as production, right? Now, if let's say, and then if I want to know how much one worker is producing out of the 100, how much one worker is producing, that will be called as productivity. Okay. So now if 100, if there are 5 workers, so if I divide this 100 by 5, that means each worker is producing 20 units. So in that case, productivity turns out to be 20 units per worker. Okay. So in case of human capital considers education and health as a means or as a way to increase productivity. It says that if people are educated, people are healthy, then they will increase, or per person output will increase. Whereas human development says that, or it considers education and health as an as integral to human well-being. Integral to human well-being means that education and health are considered as a part of human being, a human well-being. If you want to give welfare to human beings, then they should have education and health, right? So if if you want to increase the well-being of human beings, education and health must be there with them. So they are a part of human well-being. Secondly, it further says that human well-being can be achieved only when people have the ability to read and write. That is, we are talking about education here. Okay. So if people are able to read and write comfortably, right, then we say that they have acquired education, the basic education we are talking about, and apply their knowledge to derive the maximum benefit and lead a long and healthy life. So they will lead a long and healthy life only along with education if they are healthy, right? They have good health, right? So this is how well-being can be extended to human beings, right? Next is human capital says that, or it considers human beings as a means to increase productivity, right? So they basically or mainly focus, human capital mainly focuses on increasing productivity, right? They say if productivity is increasing, then there is a use of education and health. If productivity is not increasing, so in that case, that means whatever expenditure you have incurred on your education, on your health, all is a waste. Clear? So that means if investment in education and health does not increase output, it is regarded as unproductive. Unproductive basically means that it is waste. Okay, it is of no use. You have spent it so much money on your education and health, and if it is not helping the economy to increase the production, right, or it is not helping in the economic growth, then this is of no use. Whereas human development covers that human beings are ends in themselves, right? That means human beings are the result in themselves, right? Result in themselves basically means that if human beings are healthy, right? If human beings are healthy, that is the end. That is the main focus of human development. If human beings, right, are healthy, educated, well-being, they are well off, right? That is the main focus of human development, irrespective of the productivity. Means human development says that if people have acquired education and health, even after that, if productivity is not increasing, doesn't matters. What matters in human development is the well-being of human beings. So people acquire education and health just to attain their well-being. That is the main concern of human development. So from these points we can conclude that human capital is a narrower concept. Okay, human capital is a narrower concept, whereas human development is a broader concept. Now why we are saying human capital as a narrower concept? Because as the points are in front of you, it just focuses on, right, it just focuses on human beings and their contribution to the economy, right? Contribution to the economy means productivity, right? It further considers, humans or human beings as a source of increasing productivity in the economy, right? According to this concept, human beings are just a way. It's just a source in for increasing the productivity. But if I say human development, it is a broader concept. It means that human development includes all those factors which basically result in the development of the society and its members. Like if I say that, if let's say a teacher is teaching students, right? So it'll give benefits to the society as well. Okay, so that means in that sense it is a broader concept, right? So it includes, or it includes overall prosperity of human beings through their health and education. Okay, so next we have is the importance of human capital. Human capital makes effective use of physical capital. Children, long time back when we started with this chapter, I covered the concept of physical capital. I hope you people remember it. Just a reference to that. Physical capital basically means those which are tangible, like machines, right? Buildings, these are tangible. So just recollect all the points. So effective use of capital, the human capital makes effective use of physical capital. This means that physical capital can be created only if we have hardworking, skilled, and knowledgeable human beings in our society. If we have more educated people, skilled workers, right, hardworking people, then in that case, physical capital machines can be used in the best possible way. People will know how to take out best out of these machines, right? So human skill and their efficiency in a sense will help in the best utilization of the physical capital, that is the machine. The second point is that it leads to higher productivity and production. Yes, I've been covering this point, right? So, higher productivity and production basically means that human capital formation raises the productivity and production, as a skilled and educated person will make better use of the available resources, right? It lead to innovations, inventions. So because of this, the productivity and the production will increase. Another thing is, if people are educated, they'll come to know about the benefits of small families. And we have observed, right? The statistics which we have gathered shows that generally people who are educated prefer to have smaller families, because they know that if they will have lesser number of children, so they will be able to give each one of them a better quality of life. A better quality of life means better education can be imparted through them, and then they can take good care of their health by giving them better facilities. Okay, right? So next is, it improves the quality of life. Quality of life, or the, if I talk about the quality of, basically we are talking here about the quality of population. Now, the quality of population we have, or any economy has, depends on the level of education and the health of a person, right? Now, because these are mainly taken as the two components of human capital, right? So, people can acquire skills, right? And then human capital formation will make these people more productive, right? And then it'll transform their life, right? It'll transform their life in the sense that people will now start earning or living, people will start earning higher incomes. With these higher incomes, they can let's say ki earn or live a better quality life, rich life, if I say, right? And enjoy the higher standard of living. So quality of life will improve only when people enjoy higher incomes. Furthermore, human capital increases life expectancy. Yes, very true. Life expectancy, by now, all of us by now know what is life expectancy, right? So, health and education, right? Or life expectancy, if I talk about precisely, it'll deal with the health facilities that are available in our economy, right? So people will become more conscious, like we have now become more conscious about our health. We should not eat junk food, right? We should exercise daily. We should give good thoughts to our mind, and for that, again we say, meditation is one source through which we can give good food to our mind, right? So we have let's say understood the value, right, of meditation, of eating good nutritive food. So when we have understood this and we follow these, the life expectancy will increase, or it has increased over the years. If you'll refer to table 5.1, right, there you will notice that over the years from 1951 till 2015, life expectancy has increased, right? So it is the outcome of human capital. And last we have is the modernization of attitude. Modernization of attitude basically means that changing the thinking pattern of people. Okay, changing the thinking pattern of people. So now, if more people are educated, right? So it is agreed, it is accepted, right, that economic development of a country always depends on the thinking of the people. Yes, if people are broad minded, they easily accept the changes. This we have already done, the benefits of education, right? If people are broad minded, they are ready to accept the new changes that are taking place and will be able to work with the new technology in a much better way, right? So that will increase the economic growth in the country, right? And then investment in human capital will help to bring the change we require. If we invest in education, we invest in health, so whatever change we want, right, that change will be achieved. Moreover, the modernization of attitudes will also help in changing the mental outlook, mindset of the people, and this will finally bring economic growth, or people will be able to achieve development in the economy. So children, I'll be able to cover up till here, but next is that the topic I'm going to take next is the education sector. Although human capital, as I'm telling you again and again, basically is the concept based on education and health. So in this chapter, I will be covering all the aspects of education, which all institutions are giving imparting education in our country, at what levels we have the education centers that are being set up. And then after that, I'll be talking about what is the system, of education in our country, how much government is spending. So all that will be covered under when we talk about the education sector in our country, right? So health I'll be covering in the chapter infrastructure. So these two parts will be covered. One here, education will be covered here, and health aspect will be covered in infrastructure chapter. So children, that's all for the day. Stay safe, stay happy, make your parents happy, and always wear a smile on